Well, there you can see, guys. There you can see the shirts they have for you, sublimated or whatever they call them. They have long sleeve shirts. I'm doing a women's football pants. We have women on black shorts, white striped shorts. The only thing I got to say about shorts is make sure if you're doing it with a JV game, make sure they're all four of you guys are the same. Don't have two long pants, two short pants. Hats, all you guys, everybody needs a new hat every year. Take the money that you get back from the convention and go buy a hat. Hate to see brown stripes on your hat. As you know, New Balance and Smitty has filled shoes. Now you can have those white soled shoes. Other than that, game cards again, whistles. I have to ask why there's not sound to this, Chris. But anyway, so that's officially sports. They wanted to get online and basically show you what they have, so you can contact them and go to their website or whatever and get any official new stuff you might need for the year.
Hey, Nick, this is George Gilbert. Is the WPIAL going to 2-inch shirts, or are they staying with the 1-inch?
That's crew dependent. You can use them. You can use the 1.5, or 2, but all crews have to be the same. All right.
Nick,
All right, so now what we'll do is we'll
Nick,
go ahead.
give me a second on that. I didn't get a chance to talk to the referees, and I know the umpires are pretty much in charge of the crews. So
Okay.
When you look through that, there was a lot of pink. There were pink flags. There were pink armbands and all that. Remember, we're only allowed to use the whistle and the lantern. It's in pink.
Okay. Good news.
Thanks.
All right. So our next participator, as you know, I'm the District 7 Male Officials Rep. All right. Welcome to the Umpires Clinic for the WPIAL football officials. What I wanted to do is I want to do something a little bit different. I want you guys to meet people throughout the WPIAL, throughout the state, who are responsible for, basically putting on high school athletics in the WPIAL, and basically responsible for the state rules interpreter and the District 7 and 8 rules interpreter. So our first speaker tonight will be Vince Sortino, the Assistant Executive Director of the WPIAL. Vince, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for the invite. Really, I just want to get on to thank everyone for all your efforts last year. If you were an official last year during the COVID year, I guess we're still in it, but it was extremely difficult last year with officials in all our sports, especially with football being a fall sport at the very beginning of what we were trying to accomplish, and getting our games in and our championships in. And because of you and your flexibility, your willingness to communicate well with your schools, with your assigners, we were able to get a full season in. We were able to get our championships in. So thank you from myself and Diana and Amy in the WPIAL office. We appreciate all your hard work and efforts in doing that last year, and we look forward to you having a great year this year. Once again, please continue to communicate. I know most of you do that on a weekly basis. Touch base with the ADs in the schools. Every school is going to be different on their back to school protocols for academics, activities, and athletics. So have a great year, and I look forward to seeing you guys throughout the year and in the playoffs.
Any of you guys have any questions for Vince?
Yeah, Nick, I got one real quick. Vince, what? Obviously, I think the officiating shortage is well known. Is anything being done at the WPIA level to try to recruit officials? Any reach out programs or anything?
We've been talking with different assigners throughout not only our area, and I know Nick's been heavily involved in trying to do this, but trying to get back into our colleges, talking to high schools and getting to colleges and trying to get kids more involved. We just had, in fact, I just had a call today, soccer down in the Uniontown area. There's not enough officials to get games for them for their varsity and or middle school. And the AD ended up calling me back and saying they found someone just got tested last year, got their PIA soccer certification. So really it's word of mouth, trying to get information out to our colleges, our seniors in high school. They're going on to college. It's a great opportunity for guys like yourself to mentor some of these young kids and try to get them involved. But we're making the effort. Nick has been doing a great job in trying to carry that forward, and we're touching base with different districts throughout the state to see how we can better do that.
Yeah, there's a question from Champion. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry about that. Is there a chance that the pay will be equal with 6A and single A?
I didn't hear a question, Nick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't hear it either. Sorry.
Is it a pay
Can you hear me?
question?
Yes, financially, yes. Can you hear me, Nick?
What is the question? Sorry.
I think he asked, is the pay for 6A going to be the same as 1A? Like, are all the divisions going to get paid the same across the board?
Vince, you want to handle this? You want me to handle it? I mean, you're past AD, but I can handle it too if you want me to.
Are you talking for our playoffs, or are you talking during the year as you
During the year.
officiate? During the year, it's all dependent on the conferences and or schools that you officiate for. So each assigner and conferences, we come up with a different payment plan. The WPIAL athletic directors several years ago came up with a sliding scale that they asked schools to try to follow, and so that the pays are more, fairer throughout. Some of the smaller schools have always commented that it's a little more difficult budget-wise for them to pay with some of the larger schools pay. So there is a discrepancy. You will get different pay, working different classifications and for different assigners throughout the year.
Yeah, I used to be an assigner prior to becoming the District 7 male officials rep. And I think the assigners have done a real good job with getting, I know Brian and Lenny are working, and so's Howdy, working to get fees to where they're close to $100 a game now. I know without going off the top of my head, I know 4, 5, and 6 are pretty close. Some conferences in 3 are $5 less. Some conferences in 2, maybe $5 less than that. But again, like Vince said, it all depends upon the A school versus the 6A school. You're not going to probably get the same amount of money at a 6A school, but we're trying to raise them up as we go. All right. So that's been always a contention of mine. And we've made great strides. And the WPIAL ADs are going to meet again soon here, and we'll be at the table with them talking about fees in general. All right. But again, though, they have budget constraints too. So does that answer your question? We're working on it. They're closer than they have been, but we are working on it. Does that answer?
And just so you know too, that's really not one of our duties in the WPIAL office to regulate and to tell other school districts what to pay in each individual sports. We at WPIAL obviously regulate and pay all of our championships once they get into the championships, but it's up to the different school districts, different assigners, different leagues on what they pay their officials.
And those assigners have worked doing that hard. I know they've worked hard at it. Right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead. Any other questions? Go ahead.
I say thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Vince? Okay, our next speaker will be Mr. Dave Blair. Dave is the Piattaway statewide football rules interpreter. Dave has a very storied background, very storied history in officiating, probably over 40, 45 years, Dave, if I'm correct, maybe even longer.
Yeah, I'm pushing that 40-year mark,
Okay.
Nick.
I met Dave when he evaluated our crew at a Western final at Du Bois. Dave does a very thorough job. I'm glad he's in as the statewide rules interpreter, but I feel it's important that you guys know who your statewide football rules interpreter is. So I asked Dave to join the conversation. The floor is all yours, Dave.
Thanks, Nick. Good evening, gentlemen, and thanks for letting me kind of have 5 minutes of your time tonight. I know you're busy, so I'll keep it kind of limited. A lot of you that I see names up here, I've either worked with or I know of you because of your work at the high school level as well as college level. Nick and I spoke here a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of things he wanted me to do is kind of tell you where my importance or things that I feel is important to think about as we're headed into the season. And that way you're going to see me push the same exact items all the way across the state. And there's four things I want to touch on. First, we're all in this together, regardless of district, chapters you're in, parts of the state you're in, and when I say we're in it together, we need to all work together to increase our rules knowledge, our mechanics, and yes, recruiting. And someone brought it up. Rules knowledge and rules study, it provides for continuous improvement for all of us across the board, but also consistency in our enforcement of the rules. We don't have the luxury as officials to pick and choose between crews on a given night of what rules we're going to enforce. When we do this, it hurts teams. It hurts those teams, especially as they make a playoff run, they get outside the district. And we've all heard it from other district teams. Hey, they never called that all season long, but you're calling it tonight. Well, we need to develop that consistency. Don't pass it on to the next crew. All you're doing is passing it down the line to the next crew that they're the bad guys now whenever they're just doing their job and their work. A couple of examples would be not enforcing the knee pads, right? The pants are supposed to cover the knee. They're not supposed to be wearing shorts, okay? Even the next level above us is clamping down on this, trying to. T-shirts, you have a white T-shirt underneath a dark jersey, looks terrible. Don't be the crew that doesn't clean that up. Don't make the next crew coming behind you do it. Sideline control, we had coaches on earlier. Sideline control, and I like some of the comments the coaches made. All they want to do is be talked to. They need communication. I know umpires, you're not out there very often, but as a crew, we need to control the sideline. It's an emotional game. We need to take care of business when we do. But if we're communicating with those coaches throughout the game, throughout the season, it'll make our life simpler. And the unsporting behavior that we see sometimes come out of those emotions will be cleaned up. 2, mechanics, clear and concise mechanics, as well as uniforms. That is an individual official's control. It's under their control. You can practice your mechanics. You can clean them up. You can make sure your uniform is clean, as Nick said. Buy a new hat. All right, keep your shoes clean. It's the perception you give when you walk onto that field, and eliminate some of that preconception from coaches and fans. I'm big with that. And recruiting, it was brought up. I believe that we've seen this crisis coming in officiating and the numbers. I believe it's all of our duty who are still on-field officials right now that we need to do everything we can to talk to people at work, at play, wherever it may be, to try to persuade them into looking at officials or being an official and coming aboard regardless of the sport. My saying is we should leave this application better than we found it. Sadly, sportsmanship is the #1 factor, according to the National Federation, that deters someone from becoming an official. So it's on us to help clean that up as well as try to bring new people in. And lastly, I want to talk about chain of command. Please use your chapter rules interpreter first. If he cannot answer the question, all right, it'll go up the chain to Dave Berry, your district rules interpreter. Go to Dave. If Dave can't resolve the issue, Dave will call me and we'll get it resolved. The problem we have over 2,000 football officials in the state of Pennsylvania. we have 52 chapter interpreters and another 12 district interpreters. So on any given day, I could be getting emails or phone calls from 64 different people. Trust me, it's a lot of information coming at me, okay? And I'm trying to get back to you in a timely fashion. So if an assistant AD or assistant rural interpreter calls me, or it's just a general official calls me, doesn't follow that chain of command, I'm not going to respond to it, okay? And don't get upset. You have elected officials within your chapter, and we need to follow that chain of command all the way up through. It'll make things run more simplistic and a lot smoother for all of us. But I'll talk football to any of you at any given time when you see me out and about. I plan on visiting a lot of the chapters in the coming month or two. So don't be afraid to approach me, introduce yourself, and let me know who you are. But guys, I'll open it up. Any questions to you? That's just kind of my gig here.
Is there any questions for Dave? Dave Blair? Like I said, Dave is our PIA statewide football rules interpreter, new to the position this year, and I'm sure he'll do a great job. If there aren't any further questions, we'll move on. Dave, I know you've had a long night. If you want to stay on, that's your prerogative. This is the umpires group. So if you want to stay on, that's your prerogative. If you want to leave, I understand that too, but that's your choice. All right.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. The umpires are the smart ones on the crew anyway, so maybe I'll hang around.
Got that right, Matt? So, all right. Anyway, my next conversation, or my next speaker will be Dave Barry. Dave Barry is our District 7, District 8 football rules interpreter. Dave is responsible for all schools in the WPIAL and all the schools in the Pittsburgh City League when it comes to football rules interpreter. Like Dave Blair said, it comes from Dave Blair down to Dave Barry down to each of the different chapter rules interpreter. Dave, the floor is all yours.
Good evening, guys. How's everybody? Nick wanted me to touch base on the new rules. I'm just going to touch base on them. Billy's going to show a slide presentation there that I presented a couple months ago. You can read that along while I commentate on a different topic, or on the same topic, but different verbiage on it. This rule was put in to help us out. It will be discussed in great length at the state rules meeting, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it here. That's the only rule change that we have. Umpires, it's going to make it easy on you. That blocking below the waist is going to be an immediate block. A couple more slides here. We'll have a video, and I'll show you. It'll show you an example of what is and what isn't an immediate block right here. 72. He did the drop step, stood up, not immediate, and then he went low. That's now illegal. So it's gonna make it a whole lot easier on us as officials and you as umpires, because you're responsible for those 4 interior linemen. So if that block isn't immediate at the snap, we're going to have an illegal block below the waist.
Hey, Dave Barry, even so, that center, what's that center in that linebacker? Even though that linebacker is in the zone, he cannot be blocked low anymore this year.
Correct. On the line, at the snap, in the zone, on the line, at the snap.
Number 16 cannot be blocked low. Correct.
Correct. Well, that'll be covered at your state rules meeting, guys. So I know some of you have already had them. There's a lot more scheduled within the next 2 weeks. The other points of emphasis, sportsmanship, intentional grounding, and ineligible receivers downfield. Let's go with the sportsmanship. That's been one we've talked about for years and years. There was some conversation in the referees meeting that I had a couple comments I didn't get a chance to make because they went on. The one point that was brought up was knowing the difference between unnecessary roughness and unsportsmanlike conduct. We need to make sure we get those two things corrected and right. There's a big difference. The unsportsmanlike, if you get the second one, there's an ejection on that one, and we need to know, we need to make sure that if we are ejecting a player, that he actually did what we are calling on him. I know the umpires are involved in all penalty situations, so that's why I'm addressing this to you, and you can pass it on with your crews. Most of the penalties that we call, we can you can verbalize them. I have offside, I have holding, I have an illegal block in the back. Those aren't critical penalties. If you end up with one of these that I'm going to call critical, unsportsmanlike, personal foul, ejection, fighting, if these key words are used, you need to be very careful of when you use them and where you say them. Because if a linebacker hears you say 26 through a punch, and then you get together as a crew and you decide, no, it wasn't a punch, it was a push, that linebacker's going over to his coach and he's saying, they said he punched him, but they didn't throw him out. So what I would recommend there is, if you have one of those calls that leads those key words, get together in your small group of officials that are going to make that decision, talk about it amongst yourself, and then come out with one good call. Any questions on that? Other than that, Nikki, I think we're good to go, bud.
Talk about some of the tackle box and stuff like that. You didn't talk.
Okay.
And
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, they're going to get this in their rules interpretation meeting, but it's still a point of emphasis.
Okay. Umpires, you guys are real familiar with this. You got the tackle box, 6 yards, 3 yards on each side of the ball, 8 yards wide. What the new rule is you have to be on the line, in the zone at the snap. So everybody in this block is eligible to be blocked below the waist, all the B players. But who can block them below the waist? So if you look at B1 and B2, who can block B1? A3. B2, who can block him? A1 or A3. B3, A2 or A1. Now, if A1 gets him, we gotta be careful. That block needs to go immediately. He needs to stay low and make that an immediate movement. B4 can be blocked by A4 or A6. So they're making it pretty easy on us. When you look at your line and you count you got your 5, 50 through 79, and then you get your keys, you look and see who can be blocked below the waist. Okay, boom, 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 boom. It's another step in your progression of your pre-snap routine.
Dave, sorry about that. I meant the misconceptions between high school and college. Remember, we have no intentional grounding we have in high school if they're outside the tackle box.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant. Those are points of emphasis this year.
Yeah. The intentional grounding, guys. Our high school rule's pretty simple. It's to conserve time or prevent a loss of yardage. If that quarterback throws the ball into the third row of the stand of the bleachers, there's not much of an assumption that he's thrown that to conserve a loss of yardage or time. Dave, you can comment, jump in on this one. We talked about this at the state meeting. There are some that were saying if there's a screen play that's set up, middle screen, and the quarterback throws it at the fullback's feet, that he's doing that to save yardage. We can't get into his head. That fullback is eligible by position and by number. He's in the area. He threw it at his feet. We have a legal incomplete pass in that situation.
And I agree with you, Dave. And we talked about that a little bit about overthrowing the guy. What if he's double covered and the quarterback leads them either by 15 yards or throws behind them 20 yards, we can't read that intent. So
Right.
just use the criteria of, is he have someone in the area and or not? And we can't think too much past it. I will tell you that may be changing in coming years.
You can take that and put that in your back pocket. There's a future coming there that might clarify this all, but for this season, we can't get into that kid's head. If there's somebody in the area and it's not into the cheap seats, he attempted to complete that pass. I'm sure the referees have a routine with their crew. I know our crew, if it's out there on the wings, we have our wing coming hard to the referee, either telling them, yes, there is somebody in the area or no, there isn't. And a lot of times he's pointing to whoever was in the area.
Dave,
Any
thank you.
questions?
Any questions for Dave Barry, guys? All right, thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick.
Appreciate your time. All right, what we're going to do next is we're going to go to. I have a few comments. I'll make them now rather than at the end of the meeting because I don't know how long we're going to go. But social media, okay? Do not ever say anything on social media about a player, coach, or team. All right, not an official active who's ever benefited from saying anything on social media about a coach, player, or a certain game. All right, if I do find out, or if the assigner finds out, or if the WPIAL finds out, that will be the last time that crew works. All right, referees, I told that same to the referee. I'm telling you to the umpires, please stay off of social media. If you have a problem during a game, we made this comment to the referees, and it's going to end up on WTAE, and somebody from the media, Mike White, Bill Beckner, or whatever, wants to ask you a question, please refer that question to the WPIAL. All right, the first thing your referee should do is call the assigner. The assigner will let the appropriate people know if there needs to be appropriate people notify, but do not get quoted in the newspaper of something that you think happened erroneously. Okay. The comment was made, and I think everybody knows this, at least the older guys do. Silence can never be misquoted. All right. There's a perception around. We had a semifinal game last year where, we played the semifinals at the home team. 6 guys in a crew went to the home coach, talked to him for about 10, 15 minutes. Then they went to the visiting coach, only 1 or 2 guys went to talk to the visiting coach for about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. All of a sudden now that visiting coach now knows, here he is, he's on the road playing at the home site. And now he sees 6 officials talking to the home coach. Guys, it's all about perception in this field. You know that. Let's treat each coach equally. All right. COVID protocol. Your referees heard this. Each school is responsible for their own COVID protocol. Hempfield may say mask. Bell Vernon may say no mask. Bell Vernon or TJ may say, mask while you're in the locker room, and then while you're on the sideline, but while you're officiating, you don't have to wear your mask. Even though the CDC hasn't done anything yet, or the state doesn't have anything yet, there may be something coming that we don't know about. Be ready for change again. We're going to play. We're going to go full board play. We're going to have fans in the stands. All right, but still, each school is responsible for their COVID protocol. Clearances, it's up to the referee. I talked to the referee about this. It's up to the referee to make sure every one of the crew members have their clearances completed and they're on the PIAA website. Okay. If for some reason you do a game as the official and you're not on the PIAA website and the PIAA finds out about it, you will not work again that year. PIAA will come and suspend you because you're not a registered official. All right, so make sure your clearances are up to date and make sure they don't expire during the year. All right. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I will answer questions at the end once Billy Schottenheimer's done. All right, Billy Schottenheimer's like I said, I'm going to turn it over to Billy. Billy has his people going to do the umpire session, and we're going to move from there. All right, go ahead, Billy. You're all yours.
Hey guys, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules. I know it's tough to, on a Monday night at 7:30 at night, but thank you. Couple things. We're gonna have Matt Shipton discuss some mechanics on umpires. He's got a real nice presentation planned for you guys. We are really digging into huddle this year, so if you guys have some huddle clips that you'd like to send, please send them to me. You can share them through a playlist on huddle. You can email me or just give me the game or the date. You guys get a ton of emails from me saying that I've shared playlists with you or games with you, so please don't hesitate to do that. Actually exchanged some emails with Dave Blair, and we're going to try to get some video libraries set up so we can use them across the state. I know he's real big on making officiating consistent from the east side of the state to the west side of the state. So we really want to work together in promoting officiating, and we've been blessed with these tools that we can use with technology, and we can just sit and Zoom if we want and watch film. So it's only making officiating better within the state. So if you do have clips, please send them to me. I know Brian Sikowski's been doing some training videos out there, so please, if you subscribe to his YouTube channel, maybe he'll get rich doing this. I don't know, but subscribe, click the like button, click the notification button, all that good stuff. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt. I do have his email address up here. I will put it up there again once the presentation's over. So Nick asked if we could really standardize who we go through. So if you have any questions related to umpire mechanics, please reach out to Matt. He's a plethora of information, and he's really good on the field. So with that being said, Matt, it's all yours.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, or try to. I think you need to stop sharing, Billy, so I can share. There we go. All right. All right, can everyone see the presentation there?
Yes.
All right, great, thank you. All right, so this is a great quote that I found. In the old days, you didn't choose to be an umpire, you got stuck doing it. Fattest, slowest, most dim-witted official was placed in the middle and given very simple instructions. Just spot the ball. That's all you had to do. Those days are long gone. The modern umpire must not only be able to be one of the better athletes on the field, he or she needs to be mentally sharp. 1 second, the umpire is determining the point of attack and watching the action. The next, he or she is dodging large muscular players, oblivious to their presence, but seemingly, hell-bent on running them over. This is Jeffrey Stern, a senior editor at Referee Magazine. I think the days are long gone, as he suggested, of just, putting the fattest, most dim-witted guy right in the middle, and you're just spotting the ball. We need to be able to move as an umpire. There aren't invisible electric fences up at the hash marks. We need to be able to go outside of those hash marks, help the guys on the wings spot the ball, especially if there's a play out of bounds and they have action going on and their backs are turned to the field of play. We need to get out there and be able to help those guys. Outline of the presentation, we're going to talk mainly about mechanics, pregame meetings, coin toss, go over the kicking game. I do have a fair number of videos to show. I'll talk a little bit about penalties and measurements. And then also at the end, a couple of videos that I pulled from YouTube that are really good about, off-ball officiating after the play is over or towards the end of a play, essentially plays that the umpire can really help out from a mechanic standpoint to try to get those fouls. Pre-game meeting. Your referee is going to do most of the talking for the pre-game meeting. However, that doesn't mean that we as umpires need to, let's ask the coach if your referee misses it, notify him, hey, are there any, uniform issues, shields, casts, things like that. Let's make sure that everybody's legally and properly equipped. a good point to make that comment is, during that pregame meeting with the coach, talk about it then, and then we can talk about it again going to the coin toss. When we come out, it's going to be the umpire and referee meeting with the coaches 45 minutes prior to kickoff. It's a good time to ask, get the center's numbers, get the linebackers' numbers, try to get names if you can. That helps. Working in the middle, those are going to be your two key points of communication. If you can go directly to the center and say, hey, can help me out with some of your guys? I saw this last play, that last play. It really helps. That rapport with the player. After that meeting's done, go ahead, walk the field. Check, make sure we have pads on the goal post. Make sure there aren't any obstructions, any soccer goals, field hockey goals, anything like that hanging out that need to be moved. Examine the uniforms, and this should be a crew-wide thing. It's a good thing to discuss during the pregame. Make sure everybody's pants are below the knees and where they need to be. Make sure that nobody has any play cards hanging around their belt. Play cards need to be on the wrist. Go ahead, check the chains with the head linesman, talk to the chain crew, watch warm-ups, and then be available. Answer any questions. If a coach has a question or a player has a question, feel free to answer. Coin toss. 99.9% of the time, the referee is going to face the scoreboard. We're going to be lined up directly across from the referee, probably about 8 to 10 yards apart. A home team and visiting team are going to come out. They're going to face each other from their respective sidelines. The referee is going to read the sportsmanship message. When he gives a statement, coaches, please certify that all players are legally and properly equipped. Usually I'd interrupt my referee and just say, hold on, let me address this before the coaches respond. Let the coaches know what they're buying into. When they come out for that coin toss, especially pregame, and 4 out of the 8 players have the jerseys tucked up underneath their shoulder pads, or they got armbands on, or dark shields and all those other things, let the coach know, hey, check your players before you buy into that everyone's legally and properly equipped, because the 4 guys that you're standing next to, none of them are legally and properly equipped. So, maybe that's a good time to address. That's, time number 2 to address that point. When the captain makes the coin toss, heads or tails, I like to yell it out and repeat it. The referee will say, heads or tails. He'll call tails. He tosses it. I'll yell tails just to let everybody know that, hey, we have a tails. We don't want a situation like the Steelers had with Bettis in Detroit there a number of years ago, and nobody knew what he called and what the actual call was. So here's a good schematic of that. The referee and the umpire. When we come out for the ceremonial coin toss, the referee is going to be on the home side. 99% of the time, it's going to be the press box side. We're going to come out on the opposite side. As soon as we come out and the coach and the teams come out on the field, I see, captains, yell for the captains. Your side judge and your head linesman can help you out with this. Get those 4 captains up here, get them set, get ready to come out. Referee is going to line his 4 captains up. I'm going to have my 4 captains up. Again, 99% of the time, he's going to want to face the scoreboard. So he's going to come out probably on the 48 on this side. We'll come out on the 48 on this side. Come out to the middle first, shake hands, and then back off to your respective positions. Look to the sideline, go ahead, wave, call the other teams out. They come out, the referee will give his signals on what transpired a half hour before that during the official coin toss, and then let's get ready to kick the ball.
Hey, Matt, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yes,
Dave
please.
Blair, Dave Barry, are we still doing a ceremonial coin toss this year? Is everything back to normal, or are we not doing it, or?
The suggestion is, Nick, to do the ceremonial toss at 30 minutes. But what we're doing is we are going back to allowing all the captains to come out.
So what we're saying is we don't need, Matt, I hate to say this, but we don't need a coin toss at the beginning of the game, correct?
No, so we'll do we'll do the real coin toss at 30, and then typically in the past we've done the ceremonial at 3 minutes. Are we no longer going to do the ceremonial at 3 minutes?
No, you go ahead and do that. You
Okay.
go ahead and do that. So you do the 30-minute and you bring them out. My point was you bring all the captains out We're going back to that normal like we did pre-COVID year.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that, Matt. I just
Oh,
want
no problem. No problem. One of the points of emphasis, obviously, guys, are the pants. Here's just some pictures I snapped. Obviously, these players are in action, but if his pants are up this high during an action play, odds are when he's standing still, they're probably not covering the knee. I mean, there's probably about a 4 or 5 inch, uptick on that. This guy over here, I don't even know if he has knee pads in. That's our responsibility as the umpire. It's actually crew responsibility, but one of the key points for the umpire, talk to your guys. These are a lot of things that we can nip in the bud prior to them coming out. The ADs and coaches have been aware of this for the longest time. It's not anything new. Again, this guy's running down the field, got a band on his leg, and just, things to be aware of. Let's try to get this, prior to the game. So when these pictures come out in the newspaper, we don't see, oh, gee, I had this game and this guy's, got his pink towel with his band around his knee. Free kick plays.
Matt, sorry about it.
Go ahead.
It's not easy to explain this when they come from the state.
Yeah.
So that's my point around this. I've got to now explain this to the state, why we in the WPIAL are allowing them to wear knee pads above their knees.
Yeah, because we definitely need to do a better job. And this is crew wide. We're the key responsibility as the umpire. But again, this is something during that warm up period after you do the coin tosses, address it. And I'll show a couple things, videos on here. You told the coach at the pregame meeting, you told him at the coin toss. I tell them again prior to the ceremonial coin toss when they come out. So that's 3 times that we've told the coach, hey, so and so get his pants down or get the he has bands on or get the thing off of his waist. The coach has been warned multiple times. So don't be afraid to send him out. Before the kick, free kick plays. The initial positioning is going to be the same for all free kicks. We're going to be with that kicker. Typically, I'll hand the kicker the ball. I'll tell him, wait for the ready for play. Go ahead, get the ball set up. Sometimes I'll stand over the ball and try to develop that rapport with the kicker. Hey, sometimes he can tell you if they're going to do an onside kick or do something funky that very first play. You have a personality out there. Don't be afraid to talk to the players. Typically, I stand 3 to 5 yards behind the kicker diagonal to him. So if he's a right-footed kicker, I'm going to be off to his right-hand side, typically 3 to 5 yards behind him. We're going to count the K players. We're going to check off with the side judge. Don't kick off with 10 or 12. We have that time. We're kicking off, to start the game, start the half, or after a score. So we have plenty of time. Make sure we kick off with 11. The last thing we want is a substitution penalty on a kickoff. Be alert that all kicking team players, except for the player that kicks the ball, are no more than 5 yards behind the kicking team's restraining line from the ready for play. Make sure everyone else is off. If all 11 are inside of that 35 restraining yards, it's fair game. Anybody can kick that ball. If there's a single player that is behind that restraining line, so from the 35 going towards their own goal line, that player has to kick the ball. If they aren't the ones that kick the ball, we kill it immediately and we have an illegal kick at that point. Again, be alert that the kicking team also has a proper number of players on each side. So when they go to kick that ball, remember they have to kick it with 4 players from their own team on that single side. And that is at the kick. So if they only line up with 3 and that person's running across prior to that kick, as long as he's on the other side of that kicker at the kick, we're fine. We don't have any issues. If it's going to be a re-kick, this was instituted a couple years ago, the referee is going to give the signal from where he sits and then go ahead and mark off the penalty. After the ball is kicked, our action is going to be, we're going to focus on the kicker in the center of the field. We're going to watch his illegal blocks in the center of the field. Typically we count in from the outside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side, plus the kicker. If they're lined up evenly, if not, it could be 5 and 5 and 5. We're going to have those guys in the middle. The biggest thing is watching for any low blocks. Had one a couple of years ago, number 5 screaming down the field, and one of the people 30 yards downfield just decides he's going to block them low. So those are the things that we need to keep an eye on. and make sure that, that kicker's protected. Someone from the receiving team doesn't come up and just clean the kicker's clock for no reason. Show a video here, in this play, the umpire here is probably too tight, needs to be probably over in here. Good job making sure nobody's on the line. We have the kicker back here. Hopefully this will play. Bill, any idea why this isn't playing? That's right.
No, I don't. But here, I can pull it up if you stop sharing. I'll pull. I have it on Dropbox.
All right. Yeah, it just says media unavailable.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I got it.
Did you clean up behind the printer? Behind the steps? There's like all kinds of programs. Okay, now I want you to take the garbage out.
This one?
As it played when we did the test run. I'm not sure why it's not playing now.
Maybe because it's recording, Bill. I don't know, Bill. I mean,
Yeah.
Shouldn't be it, but
Actually, Bill, I have the Dropbox up here. Let me just go ahead and pull it straight from the Dropbox, and let me reshare my screen. Best way to do it. All right, gentlemen, let's try this again here. Make sure umpire pen hills. Here we go. All right, can everybody see the video here now? Hopefully this will play. There we go. All right. So a little tight in here. Freeze that up. A little too tight. Let's go ahead and play. Kicker comes up, he kicks, and then we want to hustle down to, about the 50. That old saying, we should be probably down in here, focusing on those blocks, giving a little bit of space. Umpire getting to the end zone isn't make or break. We should try to get down there if we can. But your wing guys should have that. Definitely want to see more movement out of this umpire. Get down to the 50 and then work back. Focus on his keys, get a little bit closer. When I talked about some things early on, and we talked about, David mentioned it about guys and uniforms and things like that. Here's a really good example. We have a team here. They got yellow shirts hanging down below, which could simulate a flag. Some of these guys over here have yellow towels on. The pants are extremely high, well above the knee. Don't be afraid to stop it, particularly prior to a snap. Come out. Your wing guys can help you. Grab the guys, get the guys off. This isn't a solely umpire issue. This is a crew issue. Everybody needs to come in and be a part of it. Another video here. Much better position here by the umpire, back a lot deeper. Let me see if this one. Oops, media unavailable. So let me go to the Dropbox. Grab this one here. There we go. Much better positioning here by the umpire. Has his hands up, giving the signal. Talking with the kicker, communicating with the kicker. Telling the kicker, hey, wait for the whistle, wait for the whistle. Good position, and then good hustle. You could see that he was starting to run down the field, and then on this one we had a touchback. So much better job by the umpire on that one. Back to the presentation here. So pre-snap keys, position varies according to the formation. Both teams, avoid position that's going to interfere with the linebackers. Make sure that you can see the ball. Adjust your distance behind the defensive line based on the width that A is going to give you. Except, goal line, we never want to set up on the goal line. So typically we want to set at least 6, seldom more than 8 yards from the ball itself. And, again, there isn't a visible fence at those hashes. So if the ball's, on the hash, don't be afraid to go out into the hash and numbers, particularly with the right-handed quarterback, because your referee is going to be on that right side. So we want to make sure that we have that proper, coverage and get that proper box. We're going to count the offensive players. We're going to signal to the referee. Usually as team A breaks the huddle, a lot of times the referee's back there. He can count them a lot faster than we can. We definitely want to make sure that we have 11 on each side. If we have 12, let's go ahead and kill that as a substitution. The last thing we want is an illegal participation. So if they're coming up, the snap is imminent, and we know they have 12, go ahead and kill it and make it a substitution. We're going to read the offensive alignment. We're going to know who our ineligibles are prior to the snap. Know the numbering exceptions, down 1 through 3. We got to get those 5 players that are 50 through 79 on that line of scrimmage. 4th down, that does not apply. As Dave showed with the free blocking zone, note that spacing, note who is eligible to be, blocked low, especially now with the rule change on when that block has to occur. Especially now with a lot of these spread offenses. If you have that spread offense and you have a tackle and a tight end and you have that 9 technique on the defense and he's way outside, even though he's in a 3-point stance and he's on the line of scrimmage, 9 times out of 10, he's beyond, 4 yards outside of the ball. So he's outside of the box. So if he's outside of the box at the snap and in that free blocking zone, he can't be blocked low. So note those positions, especially if the team comes out and they're very wide splits. Note the position of that D end that, hey, he's clearly outside of that 4 yards from the ball. So make sure that he is going to be blocked below the waist. We're going to rule on false starts. As umpires, we will never rule on encroachment. We don't see that position. That's going to be the wing guy's call. They have that invisible plane in front of that ball. So if that defender comes across, we're not at that angle on that side. So that is not our call. Our biggest thing is going to be false starts, any snap infractions, things like that, things that happen with the ball. At the snap, our primary keys are going to be the center and 2 guards. If the play allows, we're going to observe the action of team A's tackle on the referee's side of the formation. So a lot of times we're going to line up diagonal to the referee. He's going to look straight from his key, going to be quarterback to our play side tackle. We're going to kind of position ourselves to where we have the center, 2 guards. And if we can help out on that backside tackle, we're going to try to do that. Run plays, particularly run plays up the middle. Primary key is going to be center, 2 guards. You'll watch the lead blocks, watch action around the runner. Do not watch the ball or the runner. Our biggest thing is the key as the umpire is going to be that action centered around the runner. If the runner goes past and we're not challenged by any of our keys, we're going to pivot and we're going to move downfield. Observe action behind the runner. If anything crazy happens, anybody coming, across the field to blast another defender, let's make sure we have that. We're going to take our progress spots from the wing officials. If we have a run that's into either side zone, we're going to determine that point of attack. We're going to observe the blocking. Again, do not watch the ball and runner. We're going to move with the flow of that play. Observe action around the runner. Hustle to the numbers. Again, we don't have, invisible fences at that hash mark, especially if the runner goes out of bounds and the head linesman and side judge or field judge and line judge are dealing with action on the sideline. Come out and give them a hand. Help them with get that ball and get it in and get it spotted. With the 40-second clock now, as soon as we can get that ball in and get it spotted, we can go back to our position. We don't have to stand over the ball anymore and wait for the ready for play. So we can get that spotted and move back and get ready to get going. Pass plays. Focus and attention involving the center and the guards. We're going to watch for potential chop blocks, holds, slowly move towards the line of scrimmage. In six-man crews, we are secondary on ineligible downfield and illegal forward pass. That's going to be the line judge's call. Though a lot of times we wind up throwing that flag, we are technically secondary on that call. So we don't need to sprint up to the line of scrimmage like you would have in previously in a five-man crew or four-man crew. Make sure no lineman passes you prior to a forward pass being thrown. Doesn't look good if A throws a 30-yard touchdown pass and tackle 79's standing behind you as that pass was thrown. On rollout passes, step forward, get to the line of scrimmage, turn and observe blocking in front of that passer as they roll out. Again, not following the ball, following your keys that are going to take you to the ball. Passes over the head. This is a big point of emphasis. Being that we are in a six-man crew, we don't have a deep guy down the middle. So we need to turn. If we have, feel pressure, feel that ball zing by our head, don't be afraid to turn around and take a look, because we can help out with that call if it bounces off the turf or the tight end's coming across and he's running behind us, and we can help out with those types of plays. Interceptions, change of possessions. Be alert for low blocks. Get ready because everything's coming the other direction. So get ready. Goal line mechanics 5 and in. We kind of have we have responsibility for those passes crossing the line of scrimmage, whether or not behind the passer is behind the line of scrimmage, because on those plays on 5 and in, our wing guys, their first step is to the goal line. So on those plays 5 and in, we don't want to, if the ball's at the 5, we're camped up probably a yard inside the goal line. We want to come running up and try to get to that line of scrimmage on those passes, because our wing guys are bailing out. They're going straight to the goal line per their key. Scrimmage kick plays. Know who the ineligible players are. Know who the guys are with eligible numbers. Do we have any numbering acceptance? Did the team decide to kick it on 3rd down? Make sure that we're paying attention to those numbering exceptions. Make sure we can note those ineligibles, particularly if they come out in a punt formation and the 5 guys across the front are all numbers that aren't 50 through 79. The snaps mishandled or punt is blocked. Let's move slowly towards A's goal line. Observe the action around the players, those in pursuit of the ball. Don't watch the ball. If we have a blocked punt, there's a lot of crazy things that can happen. Let's make sure that we're watching the players and watching action around the ball and not focusing on the ball. Scrimmage kick plays, and remind the defense, avoid the snapper. Lay off the snapper. Let them know that you're paying attention to that. And if they decide that they're going to come in and blast that snapper, we're going to have a problem. Also on scrimmage kick plays, and I've seen this a lot, where the linebackers will run up and they'll try to position themselves on a defensive lineman to gain advantage. They can't step on a defensive lineman to jump over the pile. They can't position themselves on top of one of their teammates to try to gain an advantage. That's a personal foul, illegal contact foul. So let's make sure we pay attention to that, particularly on field goals, that those linebackers aren't coming up and gaining an advantage by stepping on a teammate to try to hurdle the line of scrimmage. Observe any of the defensive men over the center. Try to avoid serious injury on the snapper. We need to protect that snapper. Once the ball is kicked beyond the line of scrimmage, turn and focus your attention towards the return area. Watch attention for any clips, illegal blocks, anything that can happen, especially if it's a long punt. Once we get down there, the play is over, the scrimmage kick has ended, and I tell this to my wing guys, make sure and let them know pre-game, hey, if we have a scrimmage kick, hop on your 020 or make sure somebody's down there to give me to relay that spot. There's been numerous times, both on a free kick and scrimmage kick, we're coming down the field, we get the ball from the line judge's side. go to spot it, and there's nobody there. Maybe the chain group crew got caught up, or the deep judges have already bailed out, and we have no idea, at least I don't, as the umpire, where the line of scrimmage is. So make sure you communicate with your deep guys. Hey, hop on the OTO, give me that spot, ball at the 32, ball at the 25, wherever, prior to me getting down there. So once I get down there with the ball, I know where to spot. Field goals, PATs, touched on a lot of this. Basic positioning is going to be the same. Always be able to see the snapper's hands, make sure he's not doing anything funky with the ball, lifting it up, rolling it, things like that. We're going to count K, check off with the referee. After the snap, again, immediate contact with the snapper, any holding, personal fouls. Watch defense, as I said, using their teammates for leverage. And we're going to close in. There's typically, especially on a PAT, teams just gotten scored on. You'll start to hear a lot of chatter on those PATs. So let's make sure we can, once that ball snapped, that kick is off, we're getting to that line of scrimmage, and we're showing our presence and breaking a lot of that nonsense up. Penalties. As the umpire, we're going to be responsible for marking off the penalties. Try to be in position to hear the discussion between the reporting official and the referee. Particularly on dead ball fouls, they're going to be coming in. If we just have a flag on one side, particularly on a dead ball foul, they can go ahead and give the preliminary. If both short wings have flags, remind them, do not give a preliminary signal. Come in, let us know. The last thing we want is one guy coming in giving a false start and the other guy coming in giving an encroachment. So make sure we have that discussion at pregame. You go to the enforcement spot, make eye contact with your headlines. A lot of times, I do this particular, I have a tendency to rush, get the ball, I go ahead, start marking it off, and I don't check off my headlines. Your headlinesman should be marking off the penalties with you. Give them a 1, 2, or 3, typically for a 5, 10, or 15-yard penalty. The line judge is going to hold the enforcement spot as myself and the headlinesman mark them off. That way he can say, hey, you guys went 16 or you guys went 14 on a 15-yarder. We need to make sure we get that right. You make sure we get the proper ball in. Do the math in your head and hustle to the spot. There's nothing worse than seeing someone on a 5-yard penalty take those 5-yard steps. We're very fortunate here in the WPIAL. I think probably 99% of our fields are the nice turf. We have all these great markings. Let's use those markings. We should be able to do the math in our head and go ahead and walk those off. We're going to stand over the ball, wait for the ready for play. Typically, the referee will, give you a, hey, go ahead, back up before I blow that ready for play, just to make sure you're in your spot, you're in position, ready to go. Measurements. Do not start the measurement process until designated official, holding the ball is in place. I believe that's the side judge, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure he gets down, gets that ball. He's holding it in place. We're going to take the front stake from the chain crew. Make sure that the headlinesman is prepared. Don't pull the stake prematurely. Make sure he has it typically on the back of the line. Make sure that he's set. Wait for him to give the nod before you go ahead and pull that chain. Upon that signal, we're going to stretch the chain. We're going to place it close proximity to the ball. Make sure the chain is stretched to its fullest. Hold the rod vertically until the referee is signaled, whether it's the number for the down or given the first down. If it's short, the referee is going to grab the chain. He should have another ball in his hand, and we're going to take that over. And particularly if we're outside of the hashes, we're going to take that over and spot it inside. If we're inside of the hashes, we don't have to worry about anything at that point. End of the first and third quarters. Go to the spot of the ball, give the ball to the referee. He's going to go ahead and signal the end of the period. We're going to meet with the referee. We're going to record yard line down distance for the first down. Hustle with the referee to the opposite side of the field. You confirm with the headlinesman, the line judge, make sure that, if we started on 30 on the far hash on this side of the field at the end of the quarter, we're at the 30 on the far hash on the opposite side of the field. Stay over the ball until both teams are ready for play, and the referee's going to release you, and then he's going to go ahead and blow that ready for play. Yeah, this is a play that came up last year. It kind of threw me off and some others. And let me go ahead and pull it from the drop box. So there's a team in our area that likes to do this where we'll have a tight end positioned. He'll be on the ball, same as the wing official over here. Now, by rule, the rule says, hand on or near the line of scrimmage. So let me go ahead and pause it here. We have our tight end. In this position, even though he is down, he's bending over, his hand technically is not near the line of scrimmage. So he is, and this is in the Redding's manual as well, and he gives a nice caveat to it in the Redding's manual. This guy can move even though this guy is on the line of scrimmage. Because his hand is not on the ground, he is able to move. So in this case, I got it wrong. The tight end moved, threw me off. I threw the flag, and that is not a false start because he is not bought in. So only if his hand is on the ground when he is covered up are we going to throw this. And again, there's a nice caveat in that in the Redding's manual. He talks about the covered up tight end and moving back. So there is a local team in here, the area that likes to do that. So let's make sure we don't penalize them inappropriately for this action. All right, so couple things that that I want to show. Actually, let me jump to this one here. This is probably a good one. The biggest thing is communication, making sure that we communicate properly. And there's a lot of things going on in this play. So as the umpire, having good proper communication with your wing officials can really help you out. So in this game, look at this formation. We have the ball's up here at the 47, and we have these two guys that are back here really at the 45. So are they on the line of scrimmage? Probably not. But neither one of the wing officials signaled that these guys were back. So if your wing officials should be, if we have a guy that's off, the furthest guy in the line of scrimmage, they need to be singling back. They need to hold that until the snap to let everyone know, hey, this guy's off and this guy's off. So since neither one of the wing officials are doing that, as the umpire, I'm assuming, okay, they don't have them off, so we got them covered up. So if both of them are marking them off, then we'd have, by the old rule, we have illegal formation. So let's watch this play break down. I'm assuming that these guys are covered up. Watch what happens. Tight end goes down the field. He makes the catch. And, there was a coach after the game that didn't like this call, even though the team was getting their ass kicked pretty good. But, having good communication with your wing officials can really bail you out because, either we're going to have an illegal formation, or if these guys aren't signaling, then we're assuming that everyone's on the line of scrimmage, and then we can watch this tight end go down the field and catch a forward pass. And, we have ineligible downfield, illegal touching at that point because he went down and caught the pass. So, communication is key. These are a lot of things that we can get sorted out during our pregame.
Hey, Matt, rerun that again.
Sure.
He came from the interior of the line, didn't he?
No, he was actually the tight end right here. This guy right here. It looks like he comes from the interior line. Okay. Just watch this guy right here. Yeah. He steps in and then catches the pass. So one of the things that I want to show you is this film here. This was from last year. Just want to run through 10 plays real quick just to show this umpire here pretty much gives a clinic on what to do. Really good positioning on this opening kickoff. We'll run through these quickly as it looks like we're getting close to 9 o'clock here. He signals to the kicker, hey, go ahead. Kicker kicks, he starts his hustle down. A really good job by this umpire. Next play. Great positioning here. You see he gives a signal to the referee. really good positioning. He's, between 6 and 7 yards off the ball. Gets his eye level down. He's not interfering. He makes sure that he can see the ball. His linebackers are in front of him. He's not pressured by them. He doesn't have anybody, standing next to him. So really good job by this umpire here. Watching the play, observing, he's seeing his action over here. Probably could step up a little bit more, if that's the only critique on that one. Look at it, great hustle coming in. Really good job. Referee in this case is going to have the spot. Really good job by this umpire. Similar situation here. Checks off with the referee. Really good positioning. Watching his keys. Play is over. He comes hustling in to stop any of the action. Gets the ball, looks over, make sure. On this play, though, he probably should go to this guy over here, should have that spot as opposed to going across the field. That's the only critique I'd give on that one. But again, really good job hustling the spot, getting the play down. Scrimmage kick formation, really good alignment. He's not, pressured by anybody. Or no, I'm sorry, this is third down. Steps up, takes his time coming up, focuses on his keys. We have a turnover. On the try here, really good positioning, checks off with the referee, lets him know, watch what he does here. He comes in, he's saying, hey, lay off the snapper, giving him the heads up, letting him know what's going on. Snap, kick away. In case, it wasn't too much going on, but just show that presence. But again, this umpire did a phenomenal job of making sure that everything's taken care of. Really good keys here. And we'll do one more here. This umpire is doing a really, really good job. Let me just do, here's one here with the spot. Just wanted to show you, and if we have a play that ends on this side, and you come out to get the ball as the umpire, your official on your opposite wing should have that soft spot for you. So there's no reason if you have to get a ball over here to come in, turn around to spot that ball. You should be able to get the ball, come in, and go ahead and place it down because this guy over here should have that soft spot for you.
Hey, Matt, stop the play right there. I just want to make a point.
Sure.
Notice all the linemen's pads, they cover their knees. Yeah, we got a hot shot quarterback that thinks he's better than everybody else.
Yeah.
His knees aren't covered. All right, look, all the linemen's pad knees are covered. Now we got a quarterback that his knees aren't covered. We can't let that happen, guys. Cannot let that happen.
Yeah. And this was probably 3 years ago. We had a situation where we had 4 games in a row where we sent the starting quarterback off the very first play of the game. We did it the first 4 games of the season. We told the coach, again, you tell him at the conference, you tell him during the coin toss, you tell him on the sideline, and the same type of thing. The quarterback comes out there and his pants aren't covering his knees. So, there's none of these guys out there are better than the others. So as Nick pointed out, if the linemen have all their knees covered, especially some of these guys that are, 6'4", 6'5", whatever, there's no reason why the quarterback back here can't have his covered. You get placed down, comes hustling in, gets the spot. Really good job by this umpire here. Let's see here. Let me just show you a couple things real quick and that we can do as umpires. Sure, let's see here. So this one I pulled from from YouTube. This first play here, kind of a textbook chop block, just things to watch out for, keep an eye on. Watch the center and guard right here. Boom. Or the guard and the tackle. I mean, you can't get more textbook than this from a chop block. We need to make sure that we have that. I don't know what he was keying on there, but this busted a long run for a touchdown and there was no flag on it. And this is, textbook from a chop block perspective. We need to make sure we get a flag and get on that one. All right. Let's see here, minute 43. This next one coming up, this was a point of emphasis a few years ago. Low blocks by the defense. Watch this. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This was the wrong one here. This was, this guy right here is similar to the play that Dave showed. He's too far away to try to cut this guy, and he takes 2 steps back before he tries to cut that guy, and he winds up rolling, almost a half yard before he goes down and cuts him. This next one at 250 is the one that I wanted to show. Watch this defender, what this defender does to the offensive guard that's pulling around. You can't do that on defense, especially now with the rule change. It's not an immediate first step. This tackle's all the way over here. We can't let the offensive guys do it. Remember, those restrictions also apply to the defense as well.
Who should have that call?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Probably the umpire should have it. The wing official out here can help you out on that one because he's watching the action, and particularly on a run inside.
The wings, because your keys aren't pressed.
Yeah.
Your keys aren't pressed. So yeah, the wings really got to get that. Whether that's the H or it's probably the L, but it's the L. So the L's got to get that.
And then, guys, real quick, just one thing I want to show here. A couple plays as the umpire, things that we can help out on plays, action that transpires. Here we're going to have a good call. This is going to be a personal foul on number 1 who's out here. Just watch number 1 and what he does. Play up the middle, action's over, and boom. Those are things that, as umpires, that guy does that, and I'll pause it here. From our key perspective, we should have a pretty good angle on that call. We're watching action around the ball. Our keys are all over here, and then this guy comes right across our face. If we're as the umpire and we're watching our action around the ball, we should have a straight shot right into this to be able to see that. So those are the types of things that as umpires, we need to keep our head on a swivel and try to keep an eye out for. Player safety, certainly a big thing. And then I think this is one last one here that I want to show at 1549. This is one that it's tough to see from this angle. The end zone angle is a lot better. We're going to have a personal foul and number 20 on the interception return. He just comes up and blasts this guy in the back. As the umpire, again, if we're kind of keeping that action around the ball, we can try to help out with that one. This one's tough because it happened in 3 guys, but he just comes up and just gives him that elbow shiver. And that's something over here. We're watching that action around the ball. We can help out with. So, guys, that's all I got. Let's have a great season. Bill showed my information. If you guys have any questions or anything I can help you out with, please let me know.
Matt, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good
Oh, no
job.
problem.
Good job. Any questions for Matt? I know it's 9 o'clock. We're up against it. I want to thank you for the hour and a half. Any questions for Matt Shipton? Just one thing that we told the referees, and there's some referees on this call tonight. we need to make sure that we get that clock running. Okay, so as soon as the umpire gets the football, that referee should be winding the clock, and it should be placed down between 9 and 13 seconds after that 40-second clock starts. All right, we're waiting too long the referees are waiting too long to start the clock after first downs. All right, we need to get that clock running. The umpires need to get that ball in. Need to set it as soon as that umpire has the ball, and we don't need to wait for the we don't need to wait for the sticks guys to get there. We don't need to wait for the box guy to get there. We know what the the line of scrimmage is. Let's get that clock moving. All right. Anything else, guys? Dave, Blair, anything before we leave? Dave, I still see you on. Anything before we leave? Okay. All right, Bill, anything before we leave, Bill?
No, well done, Matt. Thank you. Thanks everybody for jumping on. I appreciate it. And again, if you have any clips you want to share with Matt and I, please, there's Matt's email. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
If you
Have
have
a great night.
anything, if you have anything that we could do better, or you didn't like, or something you didn't like from tonight, please let us know, because I think Zoom's the way to go. I like, rather than taking you guys out on a Saturday morning, I think Zoom's the way to go. Please let us know if there's anything we can do better. Please let us know what we did good, stuff like that. All right?
And guys, don't be afraid to share those plays. If it's, something you're not sure about, please send them over. Gives us an opportunity to look at the film, and we're just here to observe. So if you got something that you have a question on, please feel free to send it over to myself or Bill or Nick or whomever.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for
Great.
your time tonight.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
job, all.
Thanks.